Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Please watch and listen attentively to this video I'm about to play for you guys so you understand clearly that Nigeria is not just failing but functioning the way it was exactly designed to. Watch.
Nigeria is not failing. Nigeria is functioning exactly the way it was designed to. And once you understand the design, you can't unsee it. What we call poverty, corruption, underdevelopment, these are not accidents. They are features of a system we never consented to. Most Nigerians believe something went wrong somewhere. You know that if we just had better leaders or less corruption or more discipline, that things will work out. But what if nothing actually went wrong? What if the system is working perfectly as designed, but just not for you and I? To understand Nigeria, you need to stop looking at it as a country. Nigeria is not a nation state in the traditional sense. It's a sophisticated psychological enclosure, a corporate experiment that successfully transitioned from colonial extraction to neoliberal cannibalism without ever changing its fundamental code. We are living inside a mirage, a carefully constructed reality where the life force of our people, our very soul, is the true export. Today we are going to perform an autopsy on the Nigerian dream. We are going to look at the system that programs our egos, the propaganda that manufactures our consents, and the metaphysical ritual of debt that keeps our souls in perpetual bondage. This isn't just about economics, this is about a war for our consciousness. The question is simple: how did we get here? But the answer requires us to see something that most of us have never been trained to see. Can identify it, an invisible architecture. A system so perfectly designed that it convinces you that your poverty is your fault, that your struggle is because you're not grinding hard enough, that the solution to the systemic extraction of our resources is individual entrepreneurship. Today, we're going to deconstruct that lie. We're going to trace the blueprint of your cage, because you can't escape a system that you don't understand. Let's go back to the beginning, not 1960, not even 1914. Let's go back to the period of the Royal Nigeria Company. Before there was a flag, there was a ledger. The territory we now call home was purchased for about £900,000. From its inception, the logic of this place we call Nigeria has always been one of return on investment. When the British handed over the keys, they didn't dismantle the extraction machine. They simply handed over the controls to a new class of operators. The transition to modern Nigeria state was more of a rebranding exercise. We traded the colonial officer for the neoliberal technocrat. And this is where the first layer of the illusion begins. The belief that the state exists to serve you. It does not. Nigeria, in its current neoliberal form, exists to facilitate the flow of capital out of the local ecosystem and into the global space. Now, let's fast forward to 1986. Nigeria is in crisis. Oil prices have collapsed and the military government is desperate. And then, like a knight in shining armor, the IMF arrives with a solution: the Structural Adjustment Program. On paper, they made it sound reasonable. Liberalize your economy, remove subsidies, privatize state assets, open your markets to foreign competition, trust the invisible hand of the market. But what they didn't tell us, what they never tell any country in the global south, is that this isn't economic policy. This is economic colonialism with a spreadsheet. The SAP of 1986 didn't just restructure our economy, it restructured our reality. It fundamentally altered the relationship between the Nigerian government and the Nigerian people. But more importantly, and more tragically, it altered our consciousness. The SAP was a national lobotomy. By forcing the devaluation of the naira and privatizing public assets, the system achieved something brilliant. It shifted the burden of survival entirely onto the individual. Think about the psychological warfare of that move. When the state retreats from providing electricity, education, and safety, it forces you into a state of hyper-individualism. We call it being a hustler. We pride ourselves on our resilience, but in all honesty, and to go a level deeper, this is a low vibration state of existence. It places people in a permanent survival mode. When you're constantly worried about where the next meal or where your next liter fuel is coming from, you do not have the cognitive strength to question the state of your prison. Neoliberalism replaced collective responsibility with personal shame, and that is how consent is manufactured. You aren't forced to obey. You are conditioned to compete. You are told that your neighbor is your rival for scarce resources, rather than your partner in a shared reality.
Thank you for watching that video, and I hope you learned something. But the truth being said is, in Nigeria politics, before and the current, you must know that we are still under the colonial rule, but this time is indirectly. Come to think of it, why do you think that, or why do you see that whenever it's time for re-election of the presidency, any presidential aspirant must, or should I say is mandatory for that person to go to the kingdom before the election day? Why do you think? If you know the reason, please put that in the comments box so that others can also learn and know exactly what is happening in our dear country, Nigeria. Thank you.